The National Electrical Code, or NEC, does not establish a minimum support distance for non-metallic sheaths cable, commonly referred to as NM cable. The 4.5 foot or 1.37 meter requirement that is sometimes associated with NM cable support actually originates from NFPA 70E, which is the standard for electrical safety in the workplace. The primary reason for this 4.5 foot distance requirement, as outlined in NFPA 70E, is to minimize the risk of electrical shock and arc flash to workers during the installation, maintenance, and troubleshooting of electrical equipment. When working with electrical systems, particularly in commercial and industrial settings, NM cables can potentially carry large currents. Maintaining a safe distance from these cables is crucial to protect workers from potential electrical hazards. To understand this better, it's helpful to delve into the specific hazards that the 4.5 foot distance aims to mitigate. Firstly, electrical shock is a significant danger. NM cables, even those that appear to be properly insulated, can sometimes have compromised insulation due to damage, wear and tear, or improper installation. If a worker comes into contact with a cable that has damaged insulation while the circuit is energized, there is a risk of electrical current passing through their body, leading to a potentially fatal electrical shock. The 4.5 foot distance acts as a buffer zone, reducing the likelihood of accidental contact with energized cables. Secondly, arc flash is another serious hazard. An arc flash is a type of electrical explosion that occurs when a flashover of electric current leaves its intended path and travels through the air from one conductor to another, or to ground. These events can generate intense heat, bright light, and pressure waves, all of which can cause severe burns, blindness, hearing loss, and other injuries. The 4.5 foot distance helps to reduce the risk of arc flash exposure by increasing the separation between workers and potential arc flash sources. The further away a worker is from an arc flash, the less severe the potential injuries. In addition to the 4.5 foot distance requirement, there are other important safety measures that should be taken when working with NM cables and other electrical equipment. These include always de-energizing circuits before working on them whenever possible. Using appropriate personal protective equipment, or PPE, such as insulated gloves, safety glasses, and arc-rated clothing. Following safe work practices, such as maintaining a safe distance from energized equipment and using insulated tools. Receiving proper training on electrical safety and hazard awareness. Regularly inspecting electrical equipment for damage or wear and tear. It's also important to understand the context in which the 4.5 foot requirement applies. NFPA 70E is primarily concerned with the safety of workers who are actively engaged in electrical work. This means that the 4.5 foot distance is most relevant during installation, maintenance, and troubleshooting activities. In situations where NM cables are already installed and properly supported, the 4.5 foot distance may not be strictly enforced, although it is always a good practice to maintain a safe distance from electrical equipment whenever possible. In summary, while the NEC does not explicitly state a minimum support distance for NM cable, the 4.5 foot requirement found in NFPA 70 is an important safety measure designed to protect workers from electrical shock and arc flash hazards. By understanding the risks associated with working with NM cables and following appropriate safety precautions, it is possible to minimize the potential for electrical injuries. It is important to remember that electrical work should only be performed by qualified and trained individuals who are familiar with the applicable safety standards and regulations. Furthermore, it is essential to consult the latest editions of the NEC and NFPA 70E to ensure compliance with the most up-to-date requirements. These standards are regularly revised to reflect changes in technology and industry best practices. Here are some additional points to consider regarding NM cable and electrical safety. Firstly, NM cable is commonly used in residential wiring and some light commercial applications. It consists of 2 or more insulated conductors wrapped in a non-metallic outer sheath. Secondly, the NEC specifies requirements for the installation and use of NM cable, including ampacity, overcurrent protection, and grounding. Thirdly, NM cable should be properly supported and secured to prevent damage and ensure long-term reliability. This includes using cable staples, straps, or other approved methods. Fourthly, when running an NM cable through walls or floors, it should be protected from physical damage by using conduit or other protective measures. Fifthly, NM cable should not be used in wet or damp locations unless it is specifically listed for such use. Sixthly, it is important to choose the correct size and type of NM cable for the intended application. This includes considering the ampacity requirements of the circuit and the environmental conditions in which the cable will be installed. Seventhly, all electrical work should be performed in accordance with applicable codes and regulations. This includes obtaining necessary permits and inspections. Eighthly, if you are not comfortable or qualified to perform electrical work, it is always best to hire a licensed electrician. Ninthly, regular maintenance and inspection of electrical systems can help to identify potential hazards and prevent electrical accidents. Tenthly, it is important to educate yourself and others about electrical safety. This includes understanding the risks associated with electricity and how to prevent electrical injuries. Here are some specifics regarding the dangers of arc flash. Arc flashes are caused by a variety of factors, including insulation failure, loose connections, and accidental contact with energized equipment. The intensity of an arc flash depends on the voltage and current available at the point of the fault. Arc flashes can generate temperatures as high as 35,000 degrees Fahrenheit, which is hotter than the surface of the sun. The pressure wave from an arc flash can throw workers across a room and cause serious injuries. The bright light from an arc flash can cause temporary or permanent blindness. The molten metal and debris from an arc flash can cause severe burns. Arc flash protection requires a multi-layered approach that includes hazard assessment, engineering controls, administrative controls, and personal protective equipment. A hazard assessment is a systematic process of identifying potential arc flash hazards and evaluating the risks associated with those hazards. Engineering controls are measures that are taken to reduce the likelihood of an arc flash occurring, such as installing arc flash barriers and using current-limiting devices. Administrative controls are procedures that are put in place to minimize the exposure of workers to arc flash hazards, such as lockout/tagout procedures and safe work practices. Personal protective equipment is clothing and equipment that is worn by workers to protect them from the hazards of an arc flash, such as arc-rated clothing, face shields, and gloves. In addition to these general safety measures, there are also some specific precautions that should be taken when working with NM cable. Always to energize the circuit before working on NM cable. Use insulated tools when working with NM cable. Inspect NM cable for damage before using it. Do not overload NM cable. Do not run NM cable through wet or damp locations unless it is specifically listed for such use. Follow all applicable codes and regulations when installing NM cable. By following these safety precautions, you can minimize the risk of electrical shock and arc flash when working with NM cable. This 4.5-foot distance, therefore, should be viewed not as an arbitrary rule, but as a component of a larger safety strategy. This strategy prioritizes the well-being of electrical workers and aims to create a safer working environment. The key takeaway is that the 4.5-foot distance related to NM cable support is primarily a worker safety measure found within NFPA 70, intended to mitigate electrical shock and arc flash hazards, particularly during installation and maintenance activities. Always prioritize safety and consult relevant electrical codes and standards.